So the other day I was going down the road, everything went fine, and all of a sudden I heard a massive bang and the entire car jolted sideways, and I pulled over to the side to see what it actually was, and well, here's how it went. Come take a look. That is a broken spring leaf. And, well, I lost it. Okay, I was obviously joking there. I didn't light my car on fire, surprise, surprise. I knew that the spring leaf was broken from the get-go, even before I bought the car. Made for a nice negotiation point. And only now did it really become necessary to change out the spring leaf, because I was noticing that the stuff in there was actually starting to shift around and it didn't look so neatly packed anymore. So I went on the hunt for finding a new spring leaf. The story behind this is actually worth telling, I think. You see, some of you may recall this video, and somewhere down the line I say the following. What still remains to be done is replacing the manifold gasket, as it has just started to develop a leak. I have to make some new bronze fittings to put inside the shock linkages. I have to seal the leaking steering box at some time, get the wiper motor running, and replace a spring leaf in the rear. But apart from the manifold gasket, it's really nothing that needs immediate attention. And the reason why I didn't tackle the project earlier on is because I wasn't willing to pay over 550 quid for a brand new spring pack when really only one spring was done for, and therefore it sat. On YouTube I found some people reversing their rear springs in order to get them to sit deeper, and I thought, well, maybe I would be able to somewhere acquire a piece of spring steel and then bend it into shape with a hydraulic press. But then again, you may be causing micro cracks, and I don't know about heat treating spring steels and whatnot, so I shied away from that one. Until suddenly one day, a guy called Bear Mark on YouTube hit me up and said, I have a couple of springs lying about, if you want you can have them. So he posted a video in which he showed the numerous measurements of his springs.
48 and 5/8.
And I was allowed to pick the one I needed, and now we're here with a new to me spring leaf ready to be installed. There was one piece I did have to make myself, and that's this bottom sheet piece load spreader thingamajig, because not only the spring was broke, but also the bolt that keeps the stuff together. And that means that probably the lower half of the bolt, along with this piece of sheet, lies on some country road in Arizona right now. Well, it's not too big a deal, right? To remove the rear end from your car, you'll have to disconnect everything that attaches to the rear end in the first place. So take off the rear wheels, take off the shock links, drain the brake fluid, snip off your brake light. Never mind that. And after you've done that, well, you can already start removing the shackles that attach the spring to the body of the car. Lowering the rear end with jacks underneath the main frame wouldn't be such an issue if my exhaust wasn't such a hack job, because mine is too long and usually it should be clear of the rear axle. Mine wasn't, and to add insult to injury, that broken bolt that should keep the spring pack together now made it hard for us to actually get the rear axle low enough to get the springs out of the way. So we had to take a pounding iron and just, brute force the springs out of the way, but eventually it worked out.
So. Aha!
Well, that only got us so far. Now to retrieve the remaining stubborn couple of spring leaves, we would have to take the rear end out all the way. That means taking out the floorboards, removing the U-joint clamshell housing, dropping the rear end all the way, and pull hard.
Moment, jetzt sind wir da am Ende.
Soweit muss eigentlich, also reicht doch, oder?
Im Prinzip reicht das.
No? This is the special coupe with the extended wheelbase. It's about 6 meters between axles. With the leaves out of the car, we went ahead and gave them a good clean, afterwards deburring them so they wouldn't dig into each other, and then with a liberal coating of grease, we were ready to put everything back together again. While the wheels were off, I was curious to see what lay beneath the rear brake drums, and so we took those off. Now, on one side we noticed that the taper actually had a shim wedged in between the drum and the axle. Not ideal, not the thing you want to be seeing, but what am I going to do about it other than slap it back together? Everything else looked fine, so yeah, time to slap the wheels back on and lower the rear end, see if everything holds up alright. Of course it held up, what were you thinking, goddammit? Off camera I remounted the U-joint housing, and while I now remount the floorboards, let me say thank you very much for watching and see you all next time. Bye bye!